Hi again, YouTube. Say yesterday somebody asked me about um like where would I get information on uh what's wrong with oral sex was the question, and I responded by saying it feels great, but like I was talking about, the most dangerous part of the whole thing, not only could you die from it because of the diseases that are connected with it, but the spiritual thing that I was trying, not just the oral sex, but sex in itself, any human contact, even talking to another person can put a spiritual thing on you. But where I get my information is from reading medical journals and talking to doctors and my nursing studies and different things. But you might want to even look into medical journals. I mean, it sounds like not a big deal because you think of genital herpes, but then you don't think of a herpes that you will get on your lip. Like, for instance, I got genital herpes on my lip, on my mouth, transmitted by my adopted parents. So if you get like syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, these are things that just don't stay in your in sexual intercourse. They can be transmitted in other ways, like through chlamydia, or and if you look at what the germs are concerning vaginal secretions and semen, and not just the germs, but like I say, the spiritual transfer of that. But everything I'm saying, pretty much, I mean, you would learn in sexual education class, except for the transferring of demons. That's probably about the worst issue in the whole thing. There's something else I wanted to say there too. I'll get to it. But yeah, it's they're real. It's real what I'm telling you. The oh, I was going to talk about the sugar levels in bodily fluids from one person to another. That's a real thing too, you know. it is. So I mean, there's, what price poison, right? Pick your poison, whatever. you know. I'm not trying to be mean or dissuade anybody from having a nice time in your lives, but there's a reason why um, in certain biblical teachings that there's intercourse between a man and a woman, the missionary position, and hopefully God is in your relationship with all that. So enough preaching on that for right now, but the medical ramifications of it all are real, and you can look into medical journals. You can go into one of the real good, well, I know there's like Club Med and whatnot, but if you want the top of the line, I would suggest personally, like, New England Medical Journal, for instance, is a good place to get really good information. You might want to ask your personal physician how they view this situation and whether or not it's a serious thing. They're not probably going to even touch on the demonology of what an incubus or succubus is. Funny names, huh? For what we're discussing here. But everything I'm talking about is real. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I'm just trying to inform you that I mean, people don't look at it like it's a big deal when you're learning about it in school, like sex education or whatever they have now, whatever they call that shit that they're teaching the children. Um, Still not touching on the dangers of all of it. And, uh, everybody around me where I live hates my fucking and guts because I wrote an article calling out the sexual education teacher in my area. And the name of the article is What Are They Teaching Our Children? And this was like almost 30 years ago now. So yeah, I'm not very well liked. So if you kind of get a little put off from what I'm telling you about the missionary position, and there's a reason why all of that is for a physical and emotional reason, um, then I'm cool with not being liked. I mean, yeah, you know, um, the good friends that I do have like me for my values and my ethics, not because I don't have them, you know. At least I would hope that's one of the reasons why, if you like me, if you're watching me, that you know I am of sound mind and body, and my heart is pure with pure intentions, along with being very wise, you know, not just God given, but actual studying to help other people in my life. That's always been a thing of mine. So here I go again. That's why I'm talking about it again, is to help you figure out what I'm talking about is very true. More people will talk about it, I'm sure, in the future, but very few do right now. You know, oh, God forbid we offend somebody, right? Yeah. Oh, well, too late. So, anyway, I've been having a few rough days. I really hate the fact that somebody can act narcissistic and still pretend they're not. It's like, look, we see you're an asshole. You don't have to keep pretending you're not. Obviously, you are, when people do that. It's like, how can they? Why would they? If I was going to be an asshole, I would be the best, and I wouldn't make any apologies for it. I'd just be like, look, this is who I am, and I don't care what you think. Yeah. But they don't do that, you know. So anyway. So yeah, it's been a little bit of rough going around here lately because I have a energy that is unmatched, really. And people who don't have that always try to rob it from you. Have you ever noticed that? It's like this lady, my daughter-in-law and I were talking, and how she's lived through too things like the simplest things that, say, like a mother watching her children would take pleasure in, versus somebody who would rather be partying and fighting and arguing. They will start arguments just for the excitement, or to take away your energy so you can't do what you wanted to do. That happened so many hundreds and thousands of times in my life by the people that raised me, right into being conditioned into accepting that out of other people. I didn't even recognize it when I was younger. It was like I knew something was weird when they'd say or do something to kind of stunt me from whatever I was doing, and I couldn't figure it out. And then after a while, it's like, well, no wonder they didn't want me to like play my flute or play my guitar or sing or dance, because they're not playing the flute or guitar or singing or dancing. They're just sitting there cramming shit in their face and criticizing what I'm doing because they're not doing it. And they made that their whole life to criticize somebody that wants to be productive. And they don't even have one drive in that area of compassion, concern, and entertainment, interconnection with other people. None of it's there, you know. So they'll try and throw a wrench in whatever you're doing. Doug asked me, "Oh, you've been crabby for a month." No, no, it was 2 weeks ago. I had exquisite energy, started working on the house together, and then all of a sudden I seemed to be working on it by myself and getting criticized for what I was doing by somebody that just sat there, or will go do something outside and make it look like, wow, that's the end all and be all of my whole fucking existence. I'm not just complaining here. I'm trying to make a correlation here for people that are living through similar things, that these people intentionally do things in your life to make it so you can't even live your life and function the way you want to do it, like my daughter-in-law saying, just like watching the kids and everything that my son is missing out on, or like she's going to make a vegan lunch meat later, um for her and her boyfriend and the kids, and they're going to have a nice evening. These simple things that people like me treasure in my life. Lunch meat's cool. Vegan, all the better for the vegans out there. I don't know. I'm I eat meat and veggies. I don't have a preference. I like to make fun of people who would uh look down on me for any of my beliefs, but other than that, I really don't care, you know. But I will join in the fun sometimes just because of that reason. So, so yeah, I'm not actually spiteful or anything because I don't say or do anything with hateful malice. But like I said, if I knew I was gonna get dirty looks for accidentally stepping on somebody, I would have done a better job. Like, stomped that bitch and broke the arch of his foot. Then he'd have something to scream about. Crybaby. Hope you're watching this, crybaby. You know, at least I didn't intentionally slap you in your temple or jump on your ribs or try and break you. Like if you were some woman and had some 200-pound man jumping on you when you only weighed 150, something like that. So anyway. Oh yeah, the last video I put out there of Doug, he's lost a considerable amount of weight since then. He has quit drinking. It really, I've been through this before with him. Even if, and he is a narcissist, stops drinking, that doesn't take away from their horrible personalities. So I almost shared a meme, and it is true. It's like, no, you're not shadow banned. Nobody likes you, you know, because I'm always hearing how shadow banned he is and kicked off of this or that. And I don't have a lot of followers compared to a lot of people, but I have the right ones. And besides that, I'm super selective who I even let on my friends list, like on Facebook and whatnot. So yeah, but so that's pretty much my day's been. I'm trying to get the bummed out air from around my space, you know. So I did get invited to go out and visit my grandkids and stuff, and I'm truly considering it before winter hits. maybe just leaving, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's really not no, that I have no human contact in my life. I, like some of you know, I went like probably at least 10 years one time without human contact, like a hug or anything. I've gone decades on end with no human interaction because I could not help myself. So I'm trying to get strong enough to be able to go and do things and whatever I need to do without it affecting me. It's a really hard thing. Get my daily things done around here, it's really difficult. So if I have energy or I look happy, leave me alone. I want to stay that way. Thanks. you know. So, yeah. It is people that feel sick about themselves or they just don't think about other people. Because, like, my daughter in law and I were talking about my sons and their dad, and these are people that they're more animalistic. You wouldn't believe it. You would not believe those people came out of my body. Two of them. You'd say, no way, this can't be. That's what I told Doug. How can you do this to me? I did it to myself. I actually prayed to have a child after I couldn't have one for 5.5 years. Careful what you wish for, you know. I wanted one just like his dad. I got two. So, and there's nothing I can do about it. No amount of love or talking or anything. Praying, nothing. Nothing. You know. All I can do is hope that there's other people out there that understand the it's a eternal pain as a mother to see somebody that you know has more potential on this planet than just about anybody, and they waste it. You know, it's crazy. It's a crazy world. I don't know. Not too thrilled with it. I suppose you feel the same way, you know. So, yeah, in all seriousness, it will be really hard to find the studies. You might have to do some wording as far as the diseases. We know sexually transmitted diseases, but if you want to know the ramifications of oral sex, it's out there, but it will be harder to find. I've made videos before on it. I actually have a video. I don't know if it's I think it's the transference of demons through sex, something like that, where I read out of the medical journals for people. So, yeah, you can do that. It's out there. Or you can trust what I'm saying, and it does make sense if you think about it. Because herpes and genital herpes are the same thing, and it just didn't get on your face by accident. Somebody that either kissed you or you were intimate with in one way or another transmitted that virus to you, you know. And that is how viruses are spread, not through the air. Now, demons can be spread through the air. That's a whole different thing, you know. So, Oh, what else? I was thinking something else. I don't know. Might have been concerning them kids of mine. Who knows? I can't describe the animalistic nature and the filthiness of the minds and the brutality and all of it. I cannot describe it to you enough to really make you could, unless you've been there and you know people like that, and like people that will say anything, and I do mean anything. It doesn't matter. There's nobody that's sacred or nothing that these people won't talk about, say, or do, or something horrible. It's just the way it is with them. So that's beyond narcissism. That's demonistic and evil. So yeah, been kind of a scary life, to be honest. You know, a little better after I got old enough to defend myself, but I read this one woman had wrote about adoption, that she felt like she was still sitting on the floor of the cold orphanage floor waiting for somebody to come and help her and, you know, rescue her. And I almost wrote, but it wasn't the time. I heard this one thing, and it is so true. Being adopted is like a store-bought cake at a family reunion when everybody else's is homemade. And that's just what it feels like. So, yeah. But people think that it's a good idea, and it's not. When the kids are all together in like group homes or orphanages or that type of setting, is where they're most comfortable and feel more loved by each other, because we're all like each other like that. So there's no way somebody that has a family can really understand that, because you're always you always feel like an alien. There's not there's very few people that have been adopted that will tell the truth about it, especially if they come from money. They will not be honest about it, because it's like my adopted brother. He's willing to suck up in more than one ways to get what he wants in life, and he has it. So, and that includes destroying anybody that got in the way of trying to get their inheritance. So yeah, yeah. The greedy, they'll do anything. That's a fact. But adoption is not a good thing for anybody that thinks that it is. Um, is it better than abortion? Well, God does take care of his own, so you decide on that. I don't approve of abortion, but I don't approve of adoption either. So, yeah. I believe in orphanages, state run orphanages that have their own schools, and they should be taught, except for the vile stuff, but they should be taught of every religion like I was on the planet, so they can make an informed decision on their own spirituality. And there should be chapels for these children to go in and pray or whatever they choose to do with their little lives. They should have opportunities in the arts and trades and different things in their life, so they could have a heads up on this planet, getting out and taking care of themselves, you know? And that really would be the most humane thing. Just giving somebody else's baby to strangers is not a cool thing. Just because somebody can afford to pay for the adoption fees and the lawyers and court costs and all that doesn't make that a good thing. It never will. You'll never convince me. I'm so glad I ran across these other thousands, and I know there's millions of us out here that think like I do too. So, yeah. Oh, like I was saying in my other video, I was talking about the Talmudic laws, and they're going to be marrying children. That's what they want to do to the people that run the whole system, which are the Talmudic Khazarian Slavic bloodline Jews, the dark ball. We are goyim to them. We are cattle to them. It states in their teachings if their penis fits in an infant and it didn't define male or female, that man is allowed to abuse that child. Just think about that in a second, or for the rest of your life when you see this implemented in our country. Because child brides around the world is not a new thing, but what's going to be new is the boys that are going to be sodomized along with society just letting it happen. So it isn't just the girls. Well, it never has been, but you'll find out what I'm telling you is true. And it happened to me. I know what I'm talking about. They said I was born with a herniated umbilical cord. No, I wasn't. I was injured when I was 2 weeks old by somebody's penis. I had scar tissue so severe I was never supposed to have children. So just wear that for a second. That's what they want to do to boys and girls on this planet. And President Trump signed the Noahide laws in action, along with, I think it was like Jimmy Carter, in like every 10 or 12 years. They sign them back into law in our country. And people wonder why I would have such animosity towards ones that call themselves Israelites. Well, it's beyond animosity, believe me. Um, I couldn't even put a word on that shit. I could put something else on it, but a word, no. So, well, everybody, I'm going to get this uploaded. It'll probably be towards nighttime when it does get uploaded because it takes at least a few hours with this phone. But, yeah, I do believe that. See, that's what it's all about in this United States is controlling the adults so we can't protect the children. And if they can get you controlled enough to go along with their way of thinking, like little baby beauty pageants and little boys and girls in dating scenes, like that show, like I can't remember what it was called, but they would like pick a date through out of like 4 different contestants. It was before all these Love Island bullshit things, but the dating game. They have something similar, or did have, for tiny little children. That's really screwed up. It really is. And I don't know why people don't see it. Most people don't see it for what it is. It's called child predation. They're hurting the children in so many ways. I'm going to get this uploaded, everybody. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.